Hello, my friends, family, and frenemies. It's your girl, Dr. Shonna, and I am live not only on YouTube, but also on Facebook. And today we're going to have a really good conversation. So, you guys make sure you come on in, join the conversation because we're going to be talking about, y'all already know we're going to be talking about the Capitol riots. I mean, what is everyone else talking about? The Capitol riots. And what we need to say about the Capitol riots is the age-old scheme that white supremacists play when they pin the riots, the crime, the events that ended in Lord knows what on Black people, or should I say so-called Black people. So we're going to have this really good conversation about Ali Alexander. I'm going to introduce you guys all to who Ali Alexander is. We're going to go over this discussion, but most importantly, we have to understand what's really at play. So you guys come on in, say your hellos. I see everyone's coming into the chat on my YouTube channel. What's up, Sid? How you doing? Look at my Sid. I'm telling you, Sid and I, we communicate nearly every day. I want to say thank you to everyone who is here, everyone who is a great supporter. Thank you, Marla. Marla says I look nice. Well, Marla, I just got my locks retightened. You know how that goes when we go get our retie, girl. But I'm ready today. I hope you guys are all ready for this conversation. What's up? How you doing, Dark Knight? Shout out to Dark Knight over here. How you doing? I'm so glad to have you guys all. Listen, family, let's do some really quick housekeeping because I can't stop laughing because when I saw this in the news on the Washington Post, Business Insider, and other websites, I said, good Lord, I already knew they was going to do some dumb shit like this and blame the Black man. Lord Jesus, we get blamed for everything. But this is a wonderful conversation for tonight because y'all know it's Friday. And on Friday, it is Mental Health Fridays. So we're going to really talk about this mental health. So this is going to be a really good thing. It's a lot for us to really talk about over here. Yes, Kawan said is a lot at play, Queen. We just fear addressing it. No, we got to address it all. So here we go. Guys, share the video. Whether you are on Facebook, whether you guys are on YouTube, it's our late night Friday discussion. Share the video. Make sure you give my YouTube channel a thumbs up on Facebook. Give me some hearts, give me some likes. And to all my haters, I know I don't got a lot of you guys out there, but I have enough. Go ahead and give the videos a thumbs down. I welcome that too. Whatever you do, it all helps me with your neurotic ways. Whatever you do, it all helps me. Just go ahead and do it. And for everyone who has given a donation, I would give you guys a shout out on Sunday. So let's make Sunday the days I do donations that have come into the Cash App, that have come into the PayPal, that have come into the Venmo. So we won't get carried away with it on every show. So I want to acknowledge you guys all. I really do appreciate you guys. And as I stated, when you guys give donations, I'm able to give counseling services to people who have lost their insurance or who do not have insurance. So you guys really do help me out a lot because I hate to turn people away when I know that we as a community can make sure people are getting the mental health counseling that they need. So that's a perfect segue into today's conversation. So we have Prince over here saying, good evening, brothers and sisters. Just started to tune into the sister. I'm glad you are here, Lamel. Thank you so much. We have one of our community members. Our community members here say I took the second COVID shot. Oh, wow. He's taking shots. That's a whole nother conversation. But D.E. Roberts, I will say this to you, and I will say this to everybody else who have taken a shot, the COVID vaccination. I want to say to you guys, thank you. Thank you for taking those shots because I am not a vaccinated person. So when you take those shots, you keep me safe. So thank you so much. Someone is asking me how to donate. If you go to the description in the YouTube channel, it will give you all the donation. But on Cash App, it is the $ Dr. Shonna. On Venmo, it is the @ Dr. Shonna. On PayPal, it is paypal.me/Shonna Etienne. So those are the ways you can do it. Sid is saying, D.E. Roberts, are you crazy? He is not crazy. Leave him alone. I want more D.E. Roberts to get vaccinated so I can be safe. Let's go ahead and get started. So, guys, who here knows about Ali Alexander? I want you guys in the chat on my YouTube channel. I got my Facebook people up here. What's up? Elkie from Detroit, Michigan. Who else here knows about Ali Alexander? Y'all just let me know in the chat. What do you know about Ali Alexander? What do you know about him? Because I want to be able to introduce you guys. Okay, so some people are saying I do. I do. Okay, great. I want to be able to introduce you guys to who this is. Thank you so much for that, Rayo. I'm not trying to look scrumptious. I'm just trying to have a conversation today. Yes, they are blaming him for organizing a mess at the Capitol. So let's go ahead and have this conversation. Ali Alexander. Let me just show you guys who he is. Forget about that, because I don't even have to tell you guys, because, you know, we can share screen. So let's go ahead and share the screen. I'm going to bring him in on the conversation so y'all can know who this man is. I think you guys need to know who he is so I can frame the conversation about him. So here's one of the things with him, okay?
I had one friend, victory or death, 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 victory or death. I had one friend, victory or death, victory or death, victory or death.
So, family, that's one video of this guy. This is one video of this guy where he's inciting the crowd by saying victory or death. This is a guy who has been said to be organizing the January 6th Capitol riots, and he was using the term victory or death, referring to 1776, which is the American Revolution. And so what he is said to have said to the audience is either they stop the count or they give Trump, you know, I think his thing was 45 for Donald Trump, 45 or 1776. And basically what he's saying is if 45 doesn't remain the president, we're going to have a revolution. So they're saying based on this discussion about this guy, he is the reason why things at the Capitol has gotten out of hand. Let me give you guys another description or another scene with this guy where, of course, the media is on it like white on rice. And the media is saying that this guy is responsible for citing the riots at Capitol Hill. So let me give you guys something else that he was saying. It's important for us to know who this guy is and what are the things that he is saying, because it's going to be part of how I frame this discussion.
Looks like so far, and there are a couple of agitators that I obviously don't, that I do. And it's replicated on the other side. This is we the people. The growing frustrations of the government and what's happening now is exactly what I've warned about. I've said that we need to make fair elections and transparent counting so that the people do not feel like the last resort is public demonstrations like this. Now, I want to say something. I don't disavow this. I do not denounce this. This is completely peaceful, looks like so far. And there are a couple of agitators that I obviously don't endorse, but this is completely peaceful. This is we the people, and this will only grow when our government, and it's replicated on the other side. This is we the people. The growing frustrations of the government.
Okay, so it is important for us to see that. So now you guys know who this is. Somebody said he looks like Sammy Davis Jr. Somebody else is saying that he is, I think I saw, I want to get up here. Someone else is saying, where is it at? I saw somebody else say that he's Arab. Is he Arab or East Indian? That's what somebody says. We're going to talk about all of this tonight. This is so important that we talked about this. The FBI just backtracked that, Queen. Okay. Somebody's saying he's Indian. I'm so glad you guys are making these comments, right? Because it's so important. Somebody said, so that one man of color has all the power. Charlene, what is a man of color? Charlene, what does that mean, that one man of color? How you doing, one? How you doing? So listen, we're going to have this conversation about who this guy is, because the media, as you can see, they have him here and they're saying that he is the reason why. He is the reason why the Capitol riots on January 6th has occurred. He is the reason why. And you already know that they always need somebody to show their asses who has black skin that they can say is the reason behind it. Forget all the Proud Boys, forget all the white supremacists, forget all the white nationalists, forget the fact that Donald Trump's social media platforms have been posting about the January 6th riot for a very long time, which I showed you guys in another video, I think 2 videos prior to this. Forget all of that stuff. Forget all of that stuff. They have somebody that they can pin this on. And we're going to really have a conversation about this. We have somebody else saying that he is not black. So if you're saying, Judah, that he is not black, what is he? What does that mean? We have this conversation all the time in this community family. And quite frankly, if I can be respectful but honest, I am so sick and tired of this conversation when we're using the term black. I'm going to say it again. I'm going to say it again one more time, that black, the word black is a catch-all phrase. It is something that we say that anybody and everybody can be included in. Anyone who can say they're black will say that they're black, and no one can dispute it, because black is just a catch-all phrase. That's all it is. So when you say, Brian, that this man, I mean, not Brian, I'm sorry, to the other person who said it, when you say that this man is not black, what do you mean? Somebody else says, I don't care, he's not black and it's not a catch-all. No, black is a catch-all phrase that everyone falls into. So what are you trying to define black to be? What is the conversation about black? Now someone is saying that he is Indian, right? Somebody said he ain't black, nor looks it. No matter what he claims, he is straight Indian. Okay, if you guys say so. But let's go ahead and have this conversation. And I'm glad that we are all saying this. I'm glad we're all saying this, because we need to be able to say this and have this conversation. Anyone can use the word black. If you're not somebody who travels out of the country and speaks to other oppressed people, they all identify as black. Trust me when I say it. I have spoken to so many people in oppressed areas, and they will say that they are black. That is a catch-all phrase that so many people use. So when you say he is not black, the question I have for you is, who are you identifying as black? Even with Rose saying that he ain't black American, what does that mean? What is a black American? I can come here from out of the country and have my children here, and they will be identified as black American, although I'm from a different place, right? So what are we saying when we say he's not black, right? So Oceana is saying dark people globally say they're black. They do. They do. I travel so many places out of the country, and so many people say that they're black. So we're not going to get lost with this conversation, and we're not going to say that he's black or he's not black. We're just going to go ahead with the conversation. So he's out there in the media, and he's being credited for starting this riot. at Capitol Hill. And I'm going to show you guys this, right? He's also has been noted in media. Thank you for that donation. Somebody said at this point, he might as well be Kamala Harris. Well, there's a lot of stuff out there about this guy, Jamie Martinez, when it comes to Kamala Harris. This is a guy who has become known by Donald Trump because he questioned Kamala Harris, saying that she is not a Black American. And Donald Trump had retweeted this and said, is this true? Donald Trump had later taken down that tweet, right? He has later taken it down because it was causing a lot of controversy on his page, but he had reposted it. And this is how this guy, Alex, started to come into the light even more, just to be honest with you. Somebody else is saying they're using Ali to get the 3 House reps that he said have been working for him on a rally. He's a casualty of that association. I'm glad you said that. So let's go ahead and get started so y'all can know who he is. First of all, the media does a wonderful job, and I'm being sarcastic for all my haters out there. I'm being sarcastic. The media does a wonderful job as highlighting Ali Akbar, aka Ali Alexander, because he used to go by Ali Akbar back in 2016, 2018, and now he's Ali Alexander. The media has done a great job of noting this guy to be a felon. So you already know when you are so-called Black, you will automatically be plastered all over media as being a felon. So he is said to be a convicted felon of property theft in 2007. He's also said to be a convicted felon of credit card abuse in 2008. Those are his charges: property theft and credit card abuse, 2007 and 2008, and now he is a felon. So how does this felon, should I say Bigsby, right? That's what I should call him, Bigsby. Do y'all remember who Bigsby is? I don't know if I brought that up because YouTube has been citing me with copyright claims. So I don't want to get my channel shut down. So therefore, I'm not going to share the Bigsby video. But if you guys remember who Bigsby is a character that was created by Dave Chappelle. Y'all remember that? Where he was the Black white supremacist, right? So he was part of the KKK, and he always wore his hood, and he was a blind man. And he had went to a blind school where he was the only Black child. And since everyone was blind, right? You're following this conversation, right? Since everyone, yes, Clayton Bigsby, since everybody was blind and no one knew what color the next person was, the educators at the school had Clayton Bigsby to believe that he was white. And so he grew up with a lot of instilled hatred toward Black people. And when he came out, he was Bixby was rallying up other white people with the shared hate toward Black people. And so every time he would go to a rally, he had on a hood. So you really couldn't see what color skin he had. And he also had on gloves. They absolutely kept him private. It is hilarious. So he had this book out. He was saying he hate ninjas and all other types of things out there. And so a news reporter had came to the home of Bixby, and they had said to Bixby, when a news reporter came, he was shocked to see a Black man sitting on the porch with a white woman. Now he was blind. She wasn't blind, right? And so he gets in a car and he's following Bixby around the town. And Bixby's out there, spilling his racial rhetoric. And he had no idea that he was a Black guy. So the reporter was trying to find a way of how he can disclose to Bixby that he was a Black guy. So Bixby invites this guy over to a rally that he was having. He his assistant, who was white, who knew he was Black, but felt that he was a great person to get out in front of all the other racist people because he was an inspiration to them. He was a motivator, and he can speak well, and he can get these people to move toward action. So he always encouraged Bigsby to wear this hood and to wear the gloves to cover up the fact that he was Black. Y'all know where I'm going with this, right? Y'all know where I'm going with this, right? So one day, Clayton Bigsby gets in front of the audience, and he decides on that day that he was going to pull off his hood and he was going to reveal his face, because no one had ever seen his face. So he pulls off his hood and everyone was shocked as hell that here it is, a Black man is the voice and the leader of that Klan organization in the area. Everyone was shocked as hell. And so when Bigsby found out that he was a Black man or a ninja, y'all know what I mean when I say ninja. Y'all know I don't want to get cited on YouTube. You know, YouTube likes to cite me and bring me down. But when they all were shocked that he was a ninja, and he found out for the first time that he was a ninja, he divorced his wife. And why did he divorce his wife? He divorced his wife because she was a ninja lover. So why do I share this story, right? Why do I share this story? I share this story because this is what Ali Alexander reminds me of, right? This is what Ali Alexander reminds me of. Here it is. What's up, LaMonica? How you doing, beautiful? Here it is. He is said to be leading a crowd of predominantly white people, white women, white men, and not all white women, because the white women had their own little march going on, and I'm going to share that with you guys in a second. But white men in particular, he was kumbaya with Alex Jones from InfoWars, which is a known conspiracy theorist. And he also is somebody who greatly supported Trump. So he was known to rub shoulders with this guy, do a lot of talking with this guy. And he was seen, as you guys seen from the videos that I've shown you, he was seen to be someone who has been a voice in that crowd, motivating people to get down to the Capitol on January 6th, and that it was either going to be 45 or 1776, stating that he was trying to incite the riots. You know, as a way to charge this man, right? I can care less if they charge him, but I'm going somewhere with this. And this is the reason why I want to have this conversation with you guys tonight. Okay? So with this being said, this man has a history of being a member of the Tea Party, and that's when he was going under the name of Ali Akbar. He was known for attacking Kamala Harris on social media, pointing out that she is not an American Black person, right? And that's where Donald Trump's son and Donald Trump and them picked up his tweets, put it out there, and this guy got really popular from that. He is someone who became a right-wing, diehard Trump supporter. He is seen doing a lot of protests. He was seen doing a lot of rallies where his voice is being used as the person to motivate these people. The thing that's crazy to me is what is not being discussed about this guy. Thank you for joining our channel, D Champion. Thank you so much for joining our channel. Here's what's not being discussed about this guy that I think we need to have this conversation. First of all, let me share this with you all so y'all can understand how this whole system works. And I know many of you guys know, but I'm going to have this conversation again and again and again until we all get in our head. You see this guy here? His name is Robert Mercer. He is the funder. He funded this guy, Ali Alexander. He funded him. Okay? He gave him the money so that he can continue to do the stuff that he was doing. It says here, on the eve of the 2016 election, see this right here? Robert Mercer donated $60,000 to a PAC Alexander advises, reported Politicon on Monday. Alexander, who identifies himself as Black and Arab, brings a more New Age approach to the culture wars, calling himself an interpreter of energy for this period. Alexander is one of many new rights media celebrities orbiting Trumpland who built a brand through live streaming musings on political warfare. Like many new right figures, he also has a history of dog whistling to the nationalist wing of the MAGA movement. Stop that right there. He also has a history of dog whistling. So they're pretty much saying that he is one of the people who is putting information out there like 45 or 1776, right? Victory or death. He's one of the people allegedly putting this information out there to get white people, MAGA people, and white nationalists, white supremacists, like Clayton Bixby, right? Getting him out there so that he can rally these people up to violence. $60,000. So why do you think I bring this up? That's why Future 5001, he says, so white supremacists are being led by a Black and Muslim Arab dude. Get the F out of here. These elites got to do better than that. Listen, I'm just showing you what's out there. I'm just showing you what's out there. This is what they're saying. And you're absolutely right to be laughing at this. I find it very hilarious. But what's even more hilarious to me is Ali Alexander is not the only person that's like that. Now, I am going to say this. Some of you guys have been a part of the interview that I had the other day with the sister Shonna, right? That was the sister that Now This had on their site, right? And this is the sister who was thrown into the spotlight as she was seen crying in her vehicle when a white gay guy, is very important that I point that out, right? For obvious reasons. We already know what the agenda is. But for the white gay guy in DC who was yelling out of his porch that there was a bunch of crackers at the Capitol destroying the city, and she was seen in her car crying, right? And somebody wrote me an email about this sister. And somebody said to me in the email that they believe that this sister doesn't care anything about knowing about herself, knowing about Black history. She doesn't care anything about the movement and the movement that we're all a part of. Should I say majority of us, because I know we're all not a part of it, but many of us, right? They were saying that she doesn't care about the movement. She's not a part of the movement. She doesn't know who she is as a Black woman. She doesn't know about her culture. She doesn't know about what is happening to Black people. She doesn't understand the necessity for why so many of us are saying we need to separate from us. She doesn't understand why we're asking for reparations. She doesn't understand any of these things. She's just looking for her way to get her name out there and to come up. The reason why I bring up Shonna, based on the email that I received from somebody, is because we have a lot of people like that in our community. A lot of people like that in our community will go ahead with whatever programming, whatever propaganda that they see, because what they're looking for really is their claim to fame. What they're looking for is money. What they're looking for is a name. What they're looking for is popularity. And many of these people don't even care how they get it. Right here, here's this guy here. Let me bring up another video about this guy. Okay, another article about this guy. The one we're talking about, Ali Alexander. All right, family, give me a second. This is what they do. The MAGA coalition rallying behind Trump's post-election mischief is already cracking. And what they're saying in this article, Cheating is stealing, not winning. This is all about the votes, right? Allegedly. Allegedly. But what they're saying in this article right here is that Jones, that's Alex Jones from InfoWars, accused Women for America First of a cardinal sin in the Trump universe, alienating Donald Trump. While Trump did an early morning drive-through of the event on his way to the golf course, Jones claimed, without offering evidence, that the president had originally planned to make a longer appearance at the march, but changed his plans after finding out that Creamer, who is of the women's organization, was the organizer, right? The reason why I'm saying that to you, because it goes on to say here that Alexander griped that Women for America First had failed at their job because they allow reporters to characterize the marches as cranks and oddballs. The media says, oh, look at these disgusting freaks. He's talking about the women because you know they don't represent well. Alexander said of the march organizers, look at these disgusting freaks. They're responsible for all these patriots, right? Then it came between a feud between Alex and the women. And here you will find in this article that Alex and Jones, right here, on November 18, Jones and Alexander, that's Ali Alexander, led a group of protesters in Georgia State Capitol building to protest the results. At one point, an unnamed protester with an American flag cowboy that proposed the group refused to leave the Capitol until the vote counting has stopped. So basically what they're saying here is Alex Jones, that is, and Ali Alexander are working together. They started fighting with white women who also organized a march at the Capitol. These white women had secured permits, so they was considered, at one point, they was considered the organizers of the Capitol. So how it moves from these white women to Ali Alexander being the organizers, I have no idea other than the fact that this is what white America does. Anytime we go hard body for white people, if something goes wrong, we get blamed. Now this guy has been shut down on social media sites. He's been asking for donations to be able to survive and fight against the allegations that's coming against him. Can't get any donations, but this is the classic case that happens all the time. And the reason why this happens, in my opinion, and you guys can tell me what you think, the reason why this happens, yes, facilitators of propaganda, is because Black people, some Black people, not all, so-called Black people, whatever that means. You know, I know some of you guys get serious about the word Black, not something I identify as, but so-called Black people. The reason why this happens, I think it really goes back to 1619. And I know we don't really like to have this conversation, but go with me on this journey for a moment. If we go back to 1619, since we have came here, Black people in their mind, we're going to talk about some cognitive dissonance. We're going to talk about cognitive dissonance. But Black people in their mind for a very long time have adopted the idea that if they assimilate into white culture, they will be accepted. Do y'all hear me, family? Do y'all hear me, family? If they assimilate into white culture, they would be accepted. You got to understand that American Blacks, American descendants of slavery, those are the ones I'm talking to for a moment, right? American descendants of slavery has been the only group of people who were forced in this country. We were brought here by force. We're not immigrants. We're not immigrants. And I need you guys just to hear me and follow the conversation along, okay? Just follow the conversation along. We are not immigrants. We've been forced to come here. Part of that required us by force, not by choice, but by force, to leave behind our culture, from the motherland, from whatever country we were kidnapped from, to leave behind our language, to leave behind our traditions, to leave behind our spirituality, and amongst other things, by force. The environment from the very beginning has always been hostile toward us, simply because the color of our skin. No other reason. There were other immigrants that came here in this country who initially was discriminated against, but then they were given the white card. They have been made white, right? They have been made white. All of that stuff is a social construct. They have been made white. What do you think that does to the mental health, to the mindset of a Black person who is tired of being treated as inferior, who is tired of being treated as less than human, who is tired of being beat, who is tired of seeing Black people get hung? And if they feel that, wait a minute, we were once indentured servants with these Irish people or these Italian people, and now they have been given the honorary status of whiteness, maybe if I get that myself, I will not be subjected to the inferiority. I would not be subjected to the abuse. I would not be subjected to being classified as less than. I would be on equal grounds if I'm just given the title of whiteness. Right? Somebody's saying Alex Jones speak a lot of truth. He ain't Black, but the truth is the truth. Right? So here it is. We look at other people that's coming to this country. Let's look at Jews, for example, the Jewish population. The Jewish population was never said to be inferior. Right? If you really think about it, it was never said to be inferior. The Jewish population was discriminated against for other reasons, but even the Jewish population has been given their honorary whiteness. Right? They have been given their honorary whiteness. Why do you think that's happening? Why do you think somebody like Ali Alexander, aka Ali Akbar, has been given a platform to talk to white people? Because we know historically in this country, white people are not trying to hear from no Black person. And we already know that there's some cognitive dissonance going on even in media. Not only are Black people suffering from cognitive dissonance, but white people are as well. And I'm going to define what that is for a second, because I know some of you guys don't know what that means. I'm going to define it. But why do you think that's the case? Why do you think that he was given his opportunity? Right? Here's what I realized. White people love when Black people act like Alex. This is my opinion. I'm not asking you guys to agree with it. I'm not asking you guys to co-sign what I'm saying. Have your own opinions, have your own thoughts. But I do believe that white people love Black people to a degree. I'm not saying love them enough to want to elevate them and stuff, because it has to be in their benefit. But I'm saying they love when Black people act like Alex. Now, y'all remember Alex's picture, right? He got his perm in his hair. No shade. No shade. He got his perm in his hair. The way he speaks, his attire, his whole movement. His whole movement is not the culture that his people have been brought up in. He doesn't have the dialect that his people primarily use. He is totally trying to assimilate into Black culture. And I think that is the most craziest thing for a lot of Black people to do. And I know some of you guys on here are trying to assimilate with white people all the time. And that's for you. That's okay. That's okay. I know some of you guys love to wear your hair that reflects as close to whiteness as possible. That's your business. That's okay. I know some people, they just identify with whites. They will have nothing but whites in their circle, dating nothing but whites. You know, they love to just live in whiteness all around. That's your business. I ain't got nothing to say about that. That's your business. But this is the effects of trying to assimilate and not even realizing the reality that you would never be able to assimilate. Let me say that again. Black people trying to assimilate into white culture is crazy as hell to me. This is my opinion. You will never be able to assimilate on the basis of your racial identity, on the basis of your skin, on the basis of your hair, on the basis of your nose, on the basis of your lips, on the basis of your hips, on the basis of your ass. The courts and white people have been trying to push black people to assimilate for a very long time. Blackness, so-called blackness, really, 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 really despise black people. They despise their culture. They despise the way they move, their beliefs. They despise everything about black people. You don't believe me? I'm trying to tell y'all. I'm trying to tell y'all. I know some of y'all don't believe me, but let me try to tell y'all. I didn't bring up the video, but you guys can go ahead and Google the video and find it for yourself. But there's a video that's going around on social media, both YouTube as well as Instagram is where I have seen it at, and I'm sure it's on Facebook as well. But there's a video out there where a white woman comes over to her black neighbors and she's harassing them over a dog that wasn't even on her property. And she's caught on their Ring video system. And in the video, at some point, she says to them, "Why do you have to be black?" Something to that extent. Y'all know what I'm talking about? Said, "Why can't you just be white? Why can't you just be white?" This always brings me back to what our ancestor James Baldwin has said, that black is a condition and white is a mindset. If white people can get black people to, in proximity, be more like them in terms of the way they speak, the way they're dressed. If they were to be a little bit more submissive to white people, if they were to be a little bit more accommodating to white people and what white people do, even the disrespectful things that some white people do, if they would be a little bit more accommodated, if they would hang out with more white people, have children with more white people, if these things would happen, white people will be a little bit happier around the new blacks, because in their head, black is a condition, right? Same thing with Alex. In Alex's head, black is a condition. He goes so far from moving away from blackness that now he is one of the only, I'm not going to say that he is the only, but he is one of the only black faces in a sea of white nationalists and white supremacists and good old boy whiteness. And for some reason, he's on the outside accepted by white society, allegedly. And I say allegedly because we already know that he's a tool. He's a tool of white supremacy. And the reason why that's the case is because white America wants more black people like Alex. It's good that propaganda, media and their propaganda ways, I'm not saying it's good because I agree with it. I'm saying it's good for them to put Alex's face out there, Ali Alexander, to put his face out there with all the blackness, because it's sending a subtle message. If you act like this, now this is all in my opinion. This is all in my opinion, right? If you act like this, you will be accepted, because we don't see color We see Black interest as a problem, the stuff that we're interested in, right? We see Black culture as a problem. We see Black lives as we see it as a problem. We see those things as a problem. But when this Ali Alexander guy was getting a little bit of leverage and he was getting some popularity and social media fame, it was one of the white counterparts from a different group is the one who put it out there that he had felonies. And this is where the cognitive dissonance kicks in. You understand what I'm saying, family? You understand what I'm saying, family? Let me know. Let me know if you're following what I'm saying. This is when cognitive dissonance kicks in. Right? On one hand, they want to bring this man in. It's okay because he's a voice. It's okay because it's probably entertaining to them. This is my opinion. Again, this is all my opinion, family. Share the video. Go ahead and give the video a thumbs up. To all my haters, go ahead and give it a thumbs down, whatever you want to do, but share the video nonetheless. My opinion. I'm not asking you guys to agree with me. I'm just putting it out there. On one hand, it's entertaining to see a Black face in a pool of white faces that not only support Donald Trump, but they want to keep their privilege and they want to keep their liberty as whites in America, what it means to be white. Remember, white and Black are both social constructs, whether you want to agree with it or not. White and Black are both social constructs. And in this country, whiteness and Blackness has very definitive meanings. And it means something to society. It means something to the laws. It means something to politics. It means something in society. And everyone that comes from another country, even if they got skin that look like us, everybody from another country, when they come here, most of them do not want to be identified as being Black because Black has a meaning in America. Oh, did I lose y'all? Did I lose y'all? Did I lose y'all? Black has a meaning. Now, even among us, those who share African ancestry, you ask some of them, you say to some of them, "Are you Black?" They'll tell you in a minute they're not Black. They tell you in a minute exactly who they are, where they're from. You think I'm lying? Come on now. Some of y'all right here in the room. Some of y'all right here in the room. And when you come to America and somebody say, "Oh, you Black?" Y'all quick to say I'm not Black. Why? Why? What is it about Blackness that you choose not to identify with? What is it? So you got to understand that white people feel it's too much to accommodate the Black culture. And I'm not talking about if you are a Black immigrant. Now, I'm not trying to be funny here. Y'all just got to listen to me. Listen to me. I'm not trying to be funny here. But if you are a Black immigrant, white culture would accept you faster than if you are not. Am I lying here? Am I lying here? Right? White culture would accept you faster if you are anything but a Black American. You're accepted faster. You know why? Because white people don't want to deal with our culture. White people don't want to deal with our belief systems. White people don't want to deal with our traditions. White people don't want to deal with our way of life. White people don't want to deal with the stuff that we are interested in. They don't want to deal with it. And people who are quick to say they're not Black, although by the naked eye from race being socially constructed in this country, they will be viewed as Black. they quickly identify as something else because they know that our culture, our interests, our way of living is not accepted nor tolerated by white America. So Alex was able to breach those grounds. Alex was able to get in front of that stage and be that way. He is not the only person. There is another black guy out there who is known to rally with KKK. I forgot his name. He's a heavy set black guy, got a little jerry curl. It's always the black people that want to perm their hair and put a jerry curl in it because they try to take away the kinks. They try to remove anything that say blackness. The only thing they can do is erase their skin, but they do everything else to try to remove blackness from them, right? But that guy, y'all can tell me his name. Y'all go ahead and tell me his name. There's a black guy. He's a heavyset black guy. He is known to run with the Klan. I'm just telling y'all. All right? What's his name? Come on, y'all know who I'm talking about. Y'all can go ahead and Google. Somebody say Uncle Ruckus. Not that black guy, the other black guy. Say Uncle Ruckus. But y'all know what I'm talking about. There's a black guy out there. He runs with the Klan. He is one of the only black guys. He's a heavy set one, got a little jerry curl going on. Got a little jerry curl. And he runs with the Klan. Somebody said, Boyce Watkins, y'all are ridiculous. Okay? Y'all are ridiculous. But nonetheless, listen. Somebody said Jesse Peterson. Is that his name? And that's not his name. It's not Jesse. Yeah, this is the guy's name. Daryl Davis. I believe that's the guy's name. Y'all can go ahead and look him up. Right? Daryl Davis. So what I'm saying to you all is, oh no, you're right. It's not Daryl Davis. It's this guy right here. Charles Barkley. Isn't that? No, you're stupid. It's Daryl Davis. I don't know. Y'all just tell me the guy's name. Y'all better stop playing with me on here. Y'all got all these other names. It's Daryl Davis, right? It's Daryl Davis, right? That's the guy, because that's the first name that rings to me. Daryl Davis. Y'all gonna have to look him up. But he's known to run with the Klan. Why? Because he has erased everything of black culture. He has erased black interests. He has erased everything. Now this is my mama right here. This is my spiritual mom. Hi, Mom. How you doing, Queen Mother? I'm gonna believe her. It's Daryl Davis. That's the guy, because that's somebody said Barack Obama. Y'all are hilarious, right? But nonetheless, he has erased everything away from black culture. He has erased everything that identifies him as being somebody who have came up through 1619, right? Nobody wants to be associated with 1619. Right? People try to erase their blackness in order for them to fit in. To fit in with whiteness, close proximity to whiteness. But at the same time, the reason why I say it's cognitive dissonance, because at the same time, it doesn't erase the fact that black people are still viewed as vagabonds, viewed as felons, viewed as violent, viewed as illiterate, viewed as inferior. It doesn't change that. And any opportunity they get to smear the campaign of a black person, they will. This is a man, Ali Alexander. This is a man who has been out front cheering on these white supremacists, cheering on these white nationalists, adopting their ideology, adopting their views, adopting their behavior, adopting their language, adopting their culture, adopting their style, but yet they found a reason to put out in the forefront that he is allegedly a felon. He's a felon. He's a felon. Right? Put it out there. Put it out there. This man is a felon. For this reason, I say we can never truly assimilate. We will never assimilate into white culture. Never happen. No matter what, we still try constantly to make this happen. But they always do things to remind us of our position here in America, to remind us of who we are. It's always people like Ali Alexander, when he loses his white card, when he loses his clout, when he loses his permission to be among white people, people like him always find their way back to blackness, aka O.J. Simpson, right? Always finds their way back to blackness. King RV, Black PR, saying Black people recognize that white supremacists use the word Black as a tool of psychological warfare by demonizing, dividing, and conquering us, and keep us from uniting with Blacks around the world. This is what he's saying. Right? Somebody else is saying, this is what this person is saying. We got to put Gavin Boomstuff there, right? Because this is what Gavin does. Gavin is probably not even Black, but it doesn't even matter. But Gavin says, I thought this was going to be a professional political stream. Literally watching Black people hate on Black people. Shame. I love you all. This is pure hate. That's another example of cognitive dissonance. You can't love us all if we're pure hate, right? Because love and hate, they do not coincide together. They are on opposite ends of the polar. They don't come together. Love is on one side, hate is on another side, right? So this is an example of what cognitive dissonance looks like, right? And this is exactly what a lot of us do when we are having a critical conversation, when we are unpacking things critically and we're examining it from multiple angles. When we're doing it is a problem. If anybody else outside of us will have this conversation, it'd be critical discourse, it'd be professional discourse. But the minute we do something and we're pointing out the things in which some of our people do and the mental illness that's behind it, is hate. You see that, right? You guys see that all. I don't have to lie. I love this stream. I love that I will put this out here because I want people to really see what cognitive dissonance looks like. We're going to go into that in a second. So Lamiko is saying, hello, Dr. Shonna, you are right. African people from the continent, specifically some Nigerians, tend to think they're above African Americans, Black Americans, foundational Black Americans. That's what he's saying, right? Right? What I'm saying to you guys is, somebody saying this brother is correct, right? Somebody says right on point. Somebody else says you got this right, right? We should expect cognitive dissonance comments. We should. And that's why I put it out there, because let's move into the conversation about cognitive dissonance. And this is where I'm going to wrap it up, and this is where I'm going to end it. We got to move into this conversation. It's important for you guys to really get in your head what that term means, because I know a lot of people use the term cognitive dissonance, but they don't really understand exactly what it is. But here's what it is, because y'all need to write this down. Somebody said they couldn't stay out of the slave quarters. Who are you talking about when you say they couldn't stay out of the slave quarters? What are you talking about? Right? Right? Somebody says, unfortunate for Gavin not getting what is going on. Yes, Dr. Shonna, cognitive dissonance runs deep in America. Thank you so much for that donation, D. I appreciate that. Let's talk about what it is, and then we're out of here. I'm done. You got to understand is if you don't remember anything else about cognitive dissonance, because so many people use this term, but not enough people define it correctly. A lot of people use this term. I want you guys to know, write this down, people. Cognitive dissonance is when new truths battle established beliefs for space in our consciousness. Y'all need to understand that. Let me break that down. When new truths, when someone is presenting to you information that is true, but is new to your ears, is new to your consciousness, You're not used to having these kind of conversations, so therefore it's new. You won't debunk it. You won't find any research that goes against what it's saying, because the research will support what it's saying, because it's a truth. It's a new truth that has come into your consciousness, and it's at war with what you've been made to believe. Is at war for that space. So the new truth is sitting there with the old belief systems that you have, and they're fighting each other. They're fighting each other. And when that happens, typically we respond with defense mechanisms. Projection, right? Y'all do know the defense mechanisms. Y'all do know the different types of defense mechanisms. I hope y'all do know. When we are not able to have critical discussions with the things that we see in our community that further keeps us divided, when we're not able to have these conversations, we will never get to a place where we all want to be, because we're not addressing what is real. See, this is a conversation. It's not a new conversation, but this is a conversation that's often put to the back burner. When we start pointing out the things that we do, the things that some of us, not all of us collectively, but the things that some of us do that further separate them from the struggle of those who came into this country by force. Let's have this conversation. We don't want to have this conversation, but we have to have the conversation. See, when we start saying, yeah, granted, we have been colonized around the world. We are oppressed around the world. That is not a false belief. That is facts. That is true. But it is also true. It is also true that we all do not look at one another as a collective one. So when we have this conversation, it becomes very uncomfortable with people that just hold on to old beliefs. And the old beliefs are we are one. We are one. But even if we go back to ancient Africa and the tribalism that existed in ancient Africa, and the reason why I'm having this discussion, well, this has nothing to do with Ali Alexander per se. It all ties in, but it has nothing to do with him per se, is because of the conversation that the one brother had that wanted to have a professional conversation, but he doesn't want to think critically. They cannot coexist. You cannot have a professional political conversation without thinking critical, because if not, what you are promoting is groupthink. And what we're not going to promote on Dr. Shonna's live is groupthink. Come on, family. Y'all with me? Y'all with me? Yes, denial is another defense mechanism. Come on, y'all. Y'all with me? We are not going to promote non-critical discourse. We're going to unpack things, because that's what we do when we are critical thinkers. We unpack things. So all of a sudden, tribalism just has gone away. All of a sudden, people identifying as their country in the motherland has gone away. All of a sudden, the fighting between Nigerians and those from Ghana have gone away. Come on, people. Come on, people. We can't keep doing that. We can't keep doing that. We can't keep doing that. This is what we're doing. Whenever we feel uncomfortable because we're holding on to old beliefs and we don't want to make room for new beliefs, that is a form of cognitive dissonance. That's a form of cognitive dissonance. So the fact that I'm pointing out that this guy, Ali Alexander, has removed himself from blackness to adopt the mindset of whiteness, and you're telling me that this is hate? Clearly, you're not ready for this conversation. Clearly, you're not ready for this conversation. You can't come on and say, I love you all, but I will not accept this hate. You can't come on here and say that, because that in itself is cognitive dissonance. That's right, Harlem Brown. This is the mindset. We have always done it this way. We have always had this mindset that we have to come together globally and everyone has to repatriate. Everyone has to move back to Africa. Where, as long as you move back to the continent, we come together with this mindset. We have adopted this belief system for so long that we have failed to examine the nuances. That's just like telling all Asians that they're one. Taiwanese people are not the same as Chinese people. Chinese people are not the same as Korean people. Korean people is not the same as Japanese people. Japanese people are not the same as Filipinos. Right? Right? We can't even do that. We can't even do that. We have to get ourselves to a place where we are recognizing the very things that are keeping us separated. The very things that have kept us separated for centuries, even before 1619. Right? People want to come over here and say, oh, you guys are promoting division. Oh, you guys are promoting hate. If you follow some of the discussions that even our brothers and sisters in the motherland is having, is not united. If you follow some of the discussions that our brothers and sisters in the UK are having, is not united. If you follow some of the discussions that our brothers and sisters are having in the Caribbean, is not united. Because if we were all united, we won't be in the situation right now. Right? Yes, CJ. CJ says, yes, the color of our skin doesn't mean we're united. I celebrate my diversity, but it doesn't mean that I hate somebody else. Just because I point out things that are obvious, just because I point out issues within us that point to a deeper mental health issue, doesn't mean that I hate anybody else. See, we want to always have a conversation about white people and everybody else, but we don't like to have these kind of conversations about ourselves. It's crazy to me. It's bananas to me. We're all saying, run back to the continent, but we got to clean up the continent. See, y'all they're taking the conversation off track. But I'll go there. I'll go there with you guys, because clearly, the mental health is running rampant in our community. The mental health issues, I should say, is running rampant. The cognitive dissonance is becoming problematic. It has been problematic, but it's even more problematic. We got a lot of work to do, or not we, but our brothers and sisters on the continent has a lot of work to do over there. They got to take the weaves out their hair. They got to stop using skin lighteners. They got to stop marrying Asian and white men and having babies with them because they're trying to get a close proximity to whiteness, assimilation, and away from who they are. We got to have the conversation. We got to have the conversation. So how can we get on point when the so-called originals of who we are ain't even on point? But we don't want to have those conversations. We don't want to have that conversation because we like to think in our head, again, cognitive dissonance, holding on to an old belief, and it becomes in combat with a new belief, creates cognitive dissonance. Because our old belief is everybody in the motherland is united. Everybody is the same. There's no tribalism. They love their Africanness. They kept their culture, and everybody's doing all this other stuff. Everybody is one. But when you go over there, you see traces of white colonization all through them. You see wigs and weaves all through there. You see white wedding gowns. Of course, they have their weddings where they also wear their tribal colors too, but they have the white wedding. Am I lying? Come on, people in there, tell me about it. Don't you know about the white wedding? What is the white wedding? Why don't you tell the people of the YouTube community what is the white wedding? Right? That's right. Skin bleaching. That's right. White Jesus is everywhere in the motherland. Trying to tell you. I'm trying to tell you. A white dress and boring music. I tell it all the time. My brothers and sisters from the motherland, they would tell me, "Oh, I'm getting married," and their wedding is a couple of days, and they got their traditional garment, and then all of a sudden they come out with a white wedding, and they gotta have their white dress. Don't tell me about it. But if we point this out, see, you can't fix something if you're not willing to talk about it. You cannot fix something if we're not able to be real with ourselves and really have these critical discussions publicly among each other. We can't fix it. Because it's not like we are all coming in one room and all having a meeting. We're not doing that. Everybody has their own separate thought process and their own separate beliefs because we're not a monolith. We're all different people. And we don't like to celebrate diversity among our people who share the same ancestry. It is okay to celebrate diversity. Why are we making it as though it does not exist? Why are we making it as though we are a monolith? We have diversity all through our community. And the minute you talk about diversity, you're the bad guy. I'm not going to keep doing this. Right? I'm not going to keep doing this. Right? I'm not going to keep on having this conversation in the dark, acting like it doesn't exist. Oh, I'm mad. I'm out of here. Y'all talk about this kind of stuff. This is hate. This is hate. We got to all be one. We haven't been one for centuries. Do you not understand dynasties? Do you not understand how empires have been brought down? Like, really, people, cognitive dissonance is real. We got to wake up. We got to wake up. Cognitive dissonance is real. We just automatically forgot all of this stuff. We forgot who the Zulus were fighting against. We just forgot all this stuff. Right? That's right. Thousands of years. Right? This is about critical thinking. And non-critical thinkers despise truth. And y'all keep listening to people who don't want to have the critical discourse. Y'all keep listening to people that want to sell you an ideology that has not worked for over 100 years. We got to start doing something differently. Because you guys are stuck in nostalgia. Y'all like to stay on old terms, old beliefs, old ideologies, old ways of being. And you wonder why we are behind. In social work or in sociology, we would call that a cultural lag. We're lagging behind. When everyone else is moving forward and they're getting it together, we're behind. And who's the we? Us here in this country. Us here in this country. We are behind. Everybody else gets it. Nigerians will pull together, right? Kenyans will pull together. People from Cote d'Ivoire will put together. Senegalese people will pull together. Haitians pull together. Jamaicans pull together. Everybody else get it but us. I'm finished with this conversation. I'm finished with this conversation. We don't get it. We don't get it. Somebody's saying the fastest way forward to bring some sort of unity is through commerce and the exchange of common culture. This all come under the umbrella of involvement. I don't disagree with you, but let's even examine that critically. How can you do that in what you're saying if we don't decolonize the minds of all Africans across the globe? We are walking around as though our brothers and sisters on the continent, in whatever country they are in, are not impacted by a colonized mind. Did we not read the news that China is owning so many countries in Africa? Am I the only person that's reading this? I can't be. I can't be. Before we get to this, unity through commerce, we can't improve to do that here in the U.S. Yeah, I'm just saying, we got to stop with this wishful, magical thinking, and we got to really start examining this stuff. Somebody said Africa needs an A1 code. I'm just saying, I'm done with this conversation. It's been 25 minutes over, right? It's been 21. Listen to this with this person. It wasn't like this in the 60s and 70s. What do I say on this channel all the time? What are the two questions we should be asking? I say it all the time when it comes to critical thinking. There are two questions we always should be asking. Come on, people in the chat. I got to get on out of here, so I need y'all to tell me what the two. We're going to be in, and we're going to be in this community. We got to be critical in our thinking. What are the two questions I say you always have to ask? There you go, Tina. Tiana. I'm sorry, Tiana. Thank you so much. How and why? Assalamu alaikum. How and why? That's the questions you should be asking. Why wasn't it like that in the 60s and 70s? You got to think about where we were as Black people psychologically in this land in the 60s and 70s, what we were up against in the 60s and 70s, what was happening to us. And it didn't even start in the 60s and 70s. You got to take it back before then, because Marcus Garvey came over here from Jamaica before the 60s and 70s. But you got to understand why Marcus Garvey could not accomplish what he was going to accomplish or what he was hoping to accomplish in Jamaica, and why he had to come here to do it. You have to understand where our mind, as American descendants of slavery, you have to understand where our mind was at during that time. How and why? How and why? So I want you guys to let me know, the person who asked that previous question, what is the how and the why? Why wasn't it like that? And how did we manage in this country to pull together? You got to understand that this country, come on now, y'all gonna get me started. We set the stage for everybody else. The fight that we had in this country set the stage for everybody else. The fight that we had in this country set the stage for everybody else. But I'm not here to have this kind of educational conversation. Not tonight. Not tonight. I came on here as I began to wrap up. I came on here. Here's somebody who's saying this too. When Africa rises, the entire black world will benefit from that. ADOS got it all wrong. Kid Cassidy, I'm not going to say you're wrong. I'm not going to say that. But again, I want you to think critically. When Africa rises, you act like Africa just popped up yesterday. When will Africa rise? When Africa deals with the colonization of their land, when Africa stops selling their land to other people, when Africa stops borrowing money from oppressors, when Africa starts pulling together, united in their own on their own continent, is when they arise. Come on now, let's have this really come. You want to have this conversation? Many African countries got their independence in the 60s and 70s. We experienced colonialism. This is the conversation we're gonna have tonight. But as I was saying, because y'all what y'all doing is regurgitating what you've been hearing on the internet. That's what y'all been doing. And it's okay. It's okay. But even what you hear and what you read from older books, see, there's a reason why when you're a researcher, like if I was to do what some of you guys are doing, if I was to go and submit a paper for my dissertation in order for me to pass, in order for me to become a doctor, and all my sources were 40, 50, 60, and 100 years old, do you think I would pass? Do you think I would pass? If I had nothing but old citations and old sources. Information evolves and changes over time. And you have to stay on top of the new research. Times change. Evolution occurs. Things get more nuanced. And we're holding on. Now, it's one thing to know the information so you can know where you come from. That's one thing. I always say you should know that. But if you're stuck in nostalgia, you just want to hold on to all the old information you had and not to make room for new information, then you are suffering from cognitive dissonance. So he's saying, ma'am, thank you for calling me ma'am, but I ain't that old. You could just call me Shonna or doctor. That'll be fine. When elephants fight, we know what suffers. Africa and Africans home in diaspora have barely survived the most recent Cold War, and we mustn't encourage another Cold War, albeit trade related. What are you talking about? Let's not go into how and why slavery did not really commence until the first Cold War started. Our trading history with Japan and China dates as far back as the 12th century. Okay, you saying all of that to say what? Please bring that into 2021. Because we ain't prepared for any war. We can barely deal with the psychological war that we are in. So I need you to bring that up to 2021. Okay, what's his point? Another one on denial. I'm going to need you to bring that up. Old knowledge ain't outdated. Pan-Africanism is still relevant today. Who said it was outdated? I said you're going to have to bring in new information. Because of evolution, information gets nuanced. And it's okay to have the information so you can understand the plight where it has come from. But where are we today? How is that tied into what is happening in this world today? This is the problem right here. Africans don't own Africa. Right? This is the problem right here. Africa is still being colonized right now. Just saying. I'm just saying. We got to have these critical conversations. We got to have these critical conversations. Right? New information evolves. We got to have this conversation. I'm not going to keep with the nostalgia. I'm not going to keep with old ass talking points that don't work. I'm not going to keep ignoring things that need to be fixed. I'm not going to keep from having conversations about the obvious that nobody wants to have the conversations about. We need to have these conversations. I'm not against anybody. I'm not against anybody. I recognize my brothers and sisters across the globe. I do. But we got to stop acting like tribalism is starting here in America. We got to stop acting like that. We got to stop forgetting how dynasties fought each other. We got to stop forgetting those things. We got to stop acting like I just told you in a previous video. Somebody told me they were half, I don't know, Kenyan and half Nigerian. I said, well, what the hell is that? And this is from somebody who is from the motherland. Half Kenyan and half Nigerian. Come on, y'all got to stop with this. Y'all got to stop acting like all this division is here. Done deal. But anyway, as I begin to wrap this up, this is 35 minutes over time. As I begin to wrap this up, this is what I want to say. Ali Alexander, Ali Akbar, was just another tool. And he too suffers from cognitive dissonance. And he wants so badly to assimilate into white culture. And white America always finds a way of letting those who try to assimilate into white culture, let them know that you're not part of us. They've done it with O.J. Simpson. They've done it with, come on. People, they have done it with a lot of people. They find ways of letting us know, nope, we don't want you anymore. Let me throw you back. You're a thief. You're a liar. You're violent. And you're not white. So I don't care how close you guys, I don't care how close you guys think you are getting to whiteness. It's never going to happen. Stop suffering from cognitive dissonance. Stop coming up. That's why somebody else said, Bill Cosby, we already know. Stop coming up with all these defense mechanisms. Get out of denial. Get out of projection, right? Be able to sit down there and have a real critical conversation, ask the critical conversations, ask the critical questions, and face the reality of what it is. Because until we wake up and until we stop lying to ourselves, because we are a bunch of liars, until we stop lying to ourselves, it's never going to get better. It's never going to get better. It's never. You have no idea. You have no idea what I hear from so many people out of our culture, out of our ethnicity, out of our racial background. And if you think they're not divided, you're a liar. Asians are divided. Indians are divided. Hispanics are divided. But we are the only ones that beat each other up about pointing out our differences. We want so bad to be a monolith. We're not. We're not, right? Somebody say we can't build our independence by being dependent. You're right. Right? But I will say this, that I think that as long as we keep having these conversations and we get to a place where we start recognizing how cognitive dissonance shows up, if we get to a place when we recognize that things can change when we collectively move together, even if we maintain separate interests. So that's a reality, right? These are realities that we have to be able to accept and recognize, family. You can still move together collectively, even if you maintain separate interests. Just like these rallies, the rally that happened on Capitol Hill, they didn't all have the same interests, but they chose to move together collectively. Same concept, same idea. We can do that. It's always pointing out. It's always pointing out, oh, well, this person's doing that person's doing that, keeps us from moving together. We need to be able to say, okay, yes, they're different, they're different, they're different. That's okay. What is our one cause? And move forward with that. We can't even do that. We're divided in so many areas. So many areas, and we're not accepting the differences that we all have in our culture. Even in religion, we're divided. If you're not a religious zealot, if you don't subscribe to religious ideologies, even you're not good enough for some people. We have so many things that we need to work on. And I'm not saying that it's not possible, but I'm saying if we don't start facing reality, if we don't start looking at the kind of conversations that we are having that are not rooted in full truth, it may have some truth, but it is not the whole truth. If we're not willing to pull in other aspects of these conversations and examine it and then create a new reality, we're never going to move forward. Because everybody wants to be right and nobody wants to be wrong. This is not about right or wrong. This is about recognizing the differences and coming to the agreement with one plan and then moving forward. We can't even do that right. Can't even do that right. And if we don't get this right, we're going to have more Ali Alexanders around. We're going to have more Candace Owens around. I know some of y'all ain't going to like this. Some of y'all ain't going to like this, but I'm going to say it. We're going to have more Barack Obamas around. Y'all ain't going to like this again. Y'all ain't going to like this again. We're going to have more Oprah Winfrey's around. I know y'all ain't going to like these things, but we got to talk about it. We got to talk about it. We're going to have more Steve Harveys around. We're going to have more Michael Jacksons around. Oop, oop, oop. I'm talking about the King of Pop. Oop. My bad. We are. Because people are trying to separate themselves from blackness. They're trying to separate themselves and align themselves with whiteness. And that's all across the globe. You want to have a Pan-African conversation? Let's start right there. All across the globe, people are trying to separate themselves from who they are and identify with whiteness. Am I lying? Right? Can we tell the truth? Can we tell the truth? Can we tell the truth? Right? Shit, y'all need to tell the truth. We need to start telling the truth. Somebody asked about the email. It's right here. Ask drshonna@gmail.com. Right? Yeah, we're going to have more Gayle Kings. Come on now. That's right. Somebody said, tell the truth and shame the devil. Right? We got to tell the truth and shame the devil. All right, family. Peace and blessings to all of y'all. Conversation went this well, but then again, I think the conversation went perfectly fine because this is Mental Health Fridays. And we're going to examine the mental health, right? And until we can get that right, nothing is going to be right because we sick, boss, right? Until we can get that right, nothing's going to be right. So we had to have this conversation. I love you too, Fahia. Right? I needed to have this conversation. We had to have this conversation, right? Because we don't want to examine those things. We want to go to the person that has the bigger mouth and the bigger raw and the bigger following and the bigger popularity and the bigger all this masculine energy. We want to go after that all the time. And ain't nothing wrong with that. But sometimes we need to tell people to take a goddamn pipe down and listen to people who are thinking critically, right? Sometimes we out there and we want to have all this. Ooh, well that's what that person said. Well, how you know it's right? Because he yelled the loudest? Because he's puffing his chest the hardest? Why don't you just think critically for yourself? Right? Think critically for yourself. I love the red, black, and the green. Absolutely. I love the red, black, and the green. But it doesn't mean I cannot critically examine the things that exist among us. I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it. Right? Just like this sister said, period. Going to do it. Period. You on the Dr. Shonna channel, you coming here for critical conversation. Doesn't mean you have to agree with me. You don't have to agree with me, but we're going to have this conversation. We're going to ask the how and the whys. We're going to have the conversation. We're going to challenge each other because that's what we do on this channel. So go ahead, family and community, share the video. Share the video. If you're on a YouTube channel, I suggest you hit subscribe. Give the video a thumbs up. To all my haters, go ahead and give it a thumbs down. That's okay too. Just keep the algorithms moving for your girl. I love you all. I'll be on here on Sunday where I address the Black community, even though I already think I did that tonight. I love you all. I love you all. Every last one of you guys have a great night. And for all my women who are part of Iris, www.iriswomen.com, www.theiriswomen.com. I will see you guys all at 10 o'clock a.m. as we continue helping you guys heal through breakups, right? Helping you guys heal through breakups so we can get right in our relationships and better our relationship to our men. I love you all. Have a great night.